my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore.
God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God. Our God is a great big God, and He holds us in His hands. He is higher than a skyscraper, and He's deeper than a submarine.
Wow, wasn't that great? And what a start to our mini Mesty. For those of you that don't know me, my name is Gavin and I'm one of the youth leaders here at church. Normally, they keep me behind the desk, but today they've let me out and they've let me host mini Mesty, which is going to be amazing. We have all of our usual things for you. We have an activity time that Sheriff House Primary have kindly put together for us. We have a fantastic thinking time from Mr. Mark Williams. And we have a story time from Sally. But before all of that, if I can find her on my amazing array of screens that I have below me here, because there are a lot, because unlike all the others that host this show, I don't get a tech. I have to do this all on my own. Now, I think everybody out there is going to go, ah, for that, aren't they? Aren't they, Catherine? I think everybody's going to go, ah, for that, aren't they?
They are, well, yeah. It's brilliant to have you with us, Gav, and nice to see you this side of the camera, greatly.
Well, you know, it's going to be fun, isn't it? And I hear you are cooking some very tempting treats for us today.
Indeed. Our theme this week will involve temptation. And so I thought it was a good idea if we made some tempting things today. But we've got to find out who's going to be tempted by sweet things and who perhaps is going to be tempted by savoury things.
Now, that is a very good question. Somebody like me is tempted by both, you realise?
Well, there we are, you see. And with us today, we've got the Batty family, and they're going to be cooking along, so we shall find out what they're going to be tempted by really this week.
Shall we pop in and say hello to them now?
I think that'd be a good idea.
Fabulous. They are going to be about 3 seconds away. The good news of doing this myself is I can see when people are coming on.
Hi,
Hello, kids. How are you? Fab. I'm going to leave you to have a little chat with Catherine, and I shall see you in a little bit.
Hi, girls. It's lovely to see you. We've got Freya. Wait for us, Freya. And we've got Evelyn. Wait for us, Evelyn. Brilliant. Now then, girls, you're going to help me today, aren't you, make some tempting goodies. So, for our sweet temptation, we're going to make chocolate dipped strawberries. So, I've got some strawberries and I've got some chocolate here. Have you got strawberries and chocolate ready, girls? Yeah. Fantastic. And then for our savoury temptation, we're going to make cheese straws. And so for those, hopefully the girls have got their things together as well. We've got some crystal puff pastry and some grated cheese. And what we need to do to start with, girls, is try not to be tempted to eat it before we get it ready. We need to put some chocolate into a bowl. We're going to break that chocolate up. And what you need to do is break it into a bowl and then either fit snugly over a saucepan, or in my case, I put it over the steamer and just sit it there. So if you break in the chocolate and sit it over some just simmering water, that will melt nicely. And we'll come back to that in a little while. And we'll come back to us in a little while and see how we get on. So, our dad comes back to us and I'll have this chocolate. Get your pack of chocolate. We can't see it down at the minute.
Can everybody hear me? Now, apparently, I've just not been able to be heard throughout all of that, and I'm really sorry. Tech problems already. What a nightmare. And do you know what, Catherine? I said something really funny and clever as well, and nobody's heard. I know. But Catherine, thank you very, very much. We shall come back to you in a little while. Thank you. And while I was being clever or funny, because nobody could hear me, it was great. We are now going to go over to our first song, and it is a firm favourite. I have a 10-month-old baby girl, and whenever this song comes on, she rocks herself back and forth. She bops along. She can't walk yet, otherwise she would be dancing. But this one is for her, and it's from Fishy Music. And for regulars at our messy church, I'm saying this is waiting for it to come on my screen so I can see it. Today is going to be a day of technology joy, I can just tell now. But it's not quite there yet. No, it is going to be Fishy Music and May You Find Peace. It is a superb song. But bear with me just a second while I try and get it up. You don't know why. It just doesn't want to work at the moment. In fact, what we will do is we'll try song 2 and we'll come back to that one. And see if I can get anywhere with that one working. All of my links to my videos have just vanished, which is not very good at all. So what I'm going to have to do, and I'm really sorry about this, is try and put these links in. And I'm going to scroll and find them, which is what I'm trying to do now. And it really is a great first song. So it's definitely worth persevering with and getting it right. So let's try this again. And we'll see if we can pop that link in and we'll get it right this time. Let's push that one there. Okay, let's try this one again. It is not. Oh, it's nearly there. Fabulous. Ladies and gents, may you find peace from Fishy Music. Yeah. Wasn't that absolutely fantastic? And I got sent a text through that, and my little girl was bopping and dancing along as she listens live, which is fantastic because at least I know I've got one audience member here today. But I have got another one because I can see her watching me faithfully. We're going to pop her up with us now and say a very, very big hello to Sally.
Hi.
Hello, Sally.
Hi.
How are you?
I'm fine. I'm very well, thank you.
Brilliant. Were you doing the actions?
No.
Normally, I can look across everybody's screen and see who's doing what. Today,
Oh,
I
really?
can't because I'm a little bit more busy.
No. No, I'm
Now,
sorry. I
have you been out exploring a little bit more, Sally? Because obviously some of the shops have reopened this week. Church has been open.
Actually, Gavin, I haven't done anything very different this week. I've just tootled in and out of Shifnal when I needed to and into the post office and back. But I'm one of those unfortunate 70-year-olds, you know.
No,
I don't go
you
to
don't
the
look
shop.
a day over 68. I'm going to get myself into trouble here. So, can you tell us, where did we leave Joseph last week?
What was that? Sorry?
Where did we leave Joseph last week
Right,
in our
that's right.
story?
Well, yes, with our story last week, poor Joseph, who had run an errand for his father Jacob, had been sold by his brothers who hated him to the Ishmaelites and taken to Egypt.
Wow,
So we've got the
they
rest.
had indeed. So I'm guessing we join him this week in Egypt.
We do. We do
Fabulous.
indeed. And so do you want me to start? Are
Do
we
you know
ready?
what? I would love that. I'm going to vanish and it's all over to you.
Okie dokie. Right. So as we were saying, Joseph ended up in Egypt, where one of Pharaoh's officers, whose name was Potiphar, and he was also the captain of the guard, bought him from the Ishmaelites. Joseph worked hard, and he did very well, and God was with him. His master, Potiphar, saw how well he did his work, and he could also see that God was with Joseph and that he was successful in all that he did. He made him his own servant because he trusted him. He made him the overseer of his whole household and put all that he had in his care. From the time that he made him the overseer in his house and over all that he had, God blessed Potiphar's household for Joseph's sake and blessed all that he had in his house and in the fields. Potiphar left Joseph in charge of everything. He knew nothing about his affairs except about what food he ate. Joseph was a handsome young man and was greatly honored in the house. But then, after some time, Potiphar's wife tried to tempt Joseph to betray his master's trust in him. Joseph refused. He said to her, "My master knows nothing about what I do in the house. He has put all that he has in my charge. I will not do this great wrong, and it would be a sin against God." Day after day, she kept trying to make Joseph betray his master's trust, but he would not listen to her. One day, when he went into the house to do his work and none of the men of the household were at home, Potiphar's wife caught hold of Joseph's coat and once again tried to tempt him to betray his master. But he left his coat in her hand and ran out of the house. She kept his coat with her until Joseph's master, Potiphar, came home. Then she said to him, "The Hebrew slave Joseph came to me to insult me, and when I cried out, he left his coat here and ran away." When Potiphar heard what his wife said to him, he was very angry. He took Joseph and put him into prison, in the place where the king's prisoners were kept. Joseph was left there in prison, but God was with Joseph and showed kindness to him and helped him to win the friendship of the keeper of the prison, who placed all the prisoners in Joseph's charge and made him responsible for whatever they did there. Wow, that was,
Fantastic. What a story.
I know. My goodness me, what a lucky young man he was that God was with him all the time.
But what a roller coaster of fortune, ups and downs.
I know, and he was absolutely determined that he would not betray the trust that had been placed in him.
Good. And temptation has a lot to answer for. And we're going to talk a little bit more with our young presenter today. Sally, thank you very, very much
You're welcome.
for reading that for us. That was superbly read. And hello to Izzy.
Hello.
How are you, Isabel?
Good, thank you, Gavin.
Brilliant. And thank you so much for being my young presenter for me. And it didn't take chocolate to ask, did it?
No.
Good. So what did you think about that story?
I think it was very important, and it showed that it told you that you shouldn't do what anyone else tempts you to do. Just do what you think is right.
Yes, you're right. And what do you think about Potiphar's wife?
I think she was jealous of Joseph. I think she might think that maybe Potiphar liked Joseph more than her, or something like that. So she might be just getting her own back.
Now that's interesting because we've seen jealousy twice, because obviously we saw the brothers get jealous of Joseph in the last week's story. And what about Potiphar himself? Did he stop to listen?
No, not really. He just put Joseph in the cell and didn't.
I know, straight to prison, didn't even listen to Joseph's side of it.
Yeah.
Now, have you ever been asked by someone or been tempted by somebody to do something naughty?
Yes, I have. I haven't
Have
done-
you? Good. Well, that's going to be my next question. Was it hard to say no?
Yes, it was, because I was really, really scared, because the person who was tempting me was really quite mean. So they said to me, I'll think about it overnight. So I went home and worried a bit, but apart from that, but yeah, it was very, very, very hard to say no.
And it can be, can't it? And it can. And how did you get yourself out of the situation, Izzy?
I just went into school the next day and went, no, I'm not doing it.
And that's very, very brave of you. Standing there and standing up for what's right is a very, very good trait to have. Well done. So, why do you think some people can ask you to do things that they know are wrong?
Maybe because, say you are a really easy target who doesn't know how to stick up for yourself, then they might say, why don't you come do this against this person or something like that. So if, say it was at school, the teacher found out, the person whose idea it was could say, well, it wasn't my idea, it was their idea, they thought of it, it's nothing to do with me, to save their own skin. So I think just to get them in trouble, really.
No, that is very true. And there are some people like that around, unfortunately. Izzy, thank you so, so much for that. You are such an insightful young lady. Thank you.
Thanks, Gavin.
And it's a pleasure to have you here. I shall see you. Well, are you going to be trying the cooking in a bit?
I think so.
Good, good. I shall catch up with you a bit later, Izzy. Take care.
Bye.
So, after that amazing story, fantastic young lady, we are going to return to Sheriff Hales, and we are going to return to cooking with Catherine.
Hi, Gav.
Hopefully. Hello, Catherine.
Well, that was a wonderful story, wasn't it? And in the time that our story was being told, and Izzy's given her thoughts on it, our chocolate has been melting nicely. So hopefully, girls, you're going to find that your chocolate has melted as well. So look, I've got lots of yummy melted chocolate.
Now, the Batty's technical assistant has sorted out their kitchen camera, so I shall leave them in your capable hands.
Fantastic. So, girls, have you got some nice melted chocolate? Let's have a look. Oh, looking good. And now then, Freya, are you making cheese straws with me?
Yes, I'm doing cheese straws.
You're doing cheese straws. So what we'll do is we'll leave our chocolate for a couple of moments and we'll have a look at our cheese straws. So what we need is some ready rolled puff pastry. It's a bit of a cheat. And we're going to unroll our puff pastry, and it's on its own sort of piece of grease-proof, isn't it? Look at that, yours is working well as well. So we're going to unravel that. So we roll it right out to the ends. The ends, your end, little end, fold over the very end bit, which doesn't seem to want to go on mine. Got stuck. Roll that bit like that. And now, have you got some grated cheese ready?
Yes, we have.
Fantastic, and I've got some grated cheese here as well. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to sprinkle some of our cheese, probably a couple of handfuls, over our piece of pastry. So should we do that together? Sprinkle it over, and this is what's going to give our cheese straws a lovely cheesy taste. Now, do you like cheese, Freya?
I love.
I find it very difficult not to be tempted just to eat the grated cheese.
Yeah,
I've got a certain person with me, Caris, who finds it very difficult to resist grated cheese. Do you like it, Freya?
Yes.
Right. How have you got on? Have you got a nice layer on your pastry?
Not quite.
Oh, nearly there. Now, when we've got our pastry sprinkled on like that, then what we're going to do is we're going to fold our pastry in half. So we're going to take it and fold it right over the top, like that. Okay, and then I'm going to get a little bit of flour. That's perfect, Freya, brilliant. And then I'm going to get a little bit of flour, and I'm just going to sprinkle that over the top, and I'm also going to get my rolling pin, and I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of flour on my rolling pin, because I don't want it all to stick. So I'll do that. And then I'm just going to lightly roll my pastry out so that it sort of seals in my cheese like that. And then I'm going to sprinkle the rest of my cheese on the top of my pastry. Doing well there?
Ooh.
How's it going, Freya?
It's a little bit difficult because it keeps sticking to the pastry that hasn't got much flour on it.
I know, I find it can get a little bit sticky. Maybe just put a little bit more, little sprinkling more of flour. You don't have to roll it too much anyway. But yes, we don't want our rolling pin stuck, do we? So there's my cheese that I've just sprinkled onto the top of my pastry, like that. And I'm just going to lightly roll that, I think, so it sort of sticks like that. Clean off my rolling pin. And then, there's the fun bit, that we're going to cut our cheese straws. So what you want to do is turn your pastry so it's facing you like that. And then I'm going to place the whole lot on my board because I'm going to cut down through my cheese straws. So, and I'm going to take them about, what's that, about 3 centimetres wide. And I'm just going to cut down my pastry and cut my strips like that. And look, it's a little bit sticky. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to cut 3 and then I'll show you what we do with those, because we're going to make them into twists. So I'm going to take my piece of pastry off my paper. Some of my cheese is falling off. Then I'm going to twist it around, just like that. Then I'm going to put a little bit of flour on my tray and some baking parchment, because I don't want these to stick. And you might find that when the melted cheese goes on them, it sticks a little bit. So I'm going to take my twist, put it on my baking tray. How are you doing, Freya?
I'm just putting them out now.
Well done, sweetheart. And pop them on the baking tray. Then we're going to go back to our strawberries, our other temptation. Some more of the rest of the pastry up. And you want to spread them out a little bit on your baking tray, because hopefully when we put them in the oven, in a hot oven at about 200 degrees, what we hope is that they will puff up. That's looking good, Freya. Lovely twisting. And you're going to pop them on your tray. Brilliant. Right, I think we should go back. I'm just going to wipe my hands a little bit, and then I'm going to go back to our strawberries. So, Evelyn, are you there? Yes. Now then, how much of that chocolate have you already eaten, Evelyn?
None.
You haven't been tempted. Well done. So I'm going to take my bowl of chocolate, and I've got a cooling wire here. So I've just put a bit of parchment paper on that as well. And then I'm going to take my delicious strawberry, and I've got a teaspoon in here. Chocolate onto my strawberry, and gosh, it's the smell of beautiful strawberry and melted chocolate is very, very tempting. And then I'm going to just let some of the drips come off, and then I'm going to pop it on my baking parchment and try really hard to let it set before I'm tempted to. I've also got a few sprinkles here, which if you wanted to, having dipped your strawberry, like this one, you could, if you wanted to, put a few sprinkles on. Depends whether you like them. I happen to have these sprinkles left from making Gwyneth's today. So they happen to be here. Too good a chance not to put them in some sprinkles. So there we go. Got that one on the baking tray. Evelyn, how are you going? Have you still resisted temptation?
No, I've eaten some.
Oh, you've eaten some. Well done. Is it good?
Yeah.
Fantastic. Right. Now then. And are you going to share any of those chocolate dipped strawberries? Have you got chocolate all around your mouth yet?
Now that is looking superb.
Right. I think what we'll do now is I will put our finish cutting the last few straws and pop those into the oven, and they'll need about 10 or 12 minutes. So hopefully, after when you come back to us in a few minutes, we'll be able to tempt you with chocolate dipped strawberries and savoury cheese straws.
Well, you can definitely tempt us. Evelyn, you are doing superbly. That looks like very messy as well. Thank you to the Batties. Looking superb. Thank you, Catherine.
Pleasure.
So we're now going to head over, and Sheriff House Primary have kindly sent us in an activity video this week. So let's head over there and have a listen.
Sheriff House School have been looking at ancient Egypt, and this week they've led our messy activity. They've been making ancient Egyptian masks and clothing. Let's have a look at how they got on.
I wish I had a brown pen with me. I think I do. Yeah, I do. There you go. So I need to colour it in grey. Oh, my iPad. I can't reach. I can't reach my iPad.
They began by copying a template or outline of the mask. They particularly concentrated on getting the correct scale so that their mask would fit their faces. Then they decided what materials and colours they would like to use to decorate their masks. They found some scraps of metallic wallpaper, and gold and silver paint worked really well. The Egyptian masks and collars the Egyptians wore were often highly decorated with precious jewels and gold and silver. I wonder what you can find to decorate your mask. Look how carefully the children are working.
Yes, now I just...
Make sure that white doesn't touch the black, otherwise you'll get a... Wow. Perfect, well done. Okay.
This is my technique.
Yeah.
Like that.
Well done. Ooh.
It's really hard to
Okay,
just get
so,
right in the edges so carefully.
you sure you want to do it red? Do you not?
Where is the
on.
gold?
Here you go.
So gold here.
Yeah. So make sure your gold doesn't touch any of the other colours that you've done. You won't get smudged.
Yeah. Okay, now wash my hands. Now do the sewing.
Yeah.
I finished. I'm still going. What? I'm still going.
Then the children decided they would make the rest of their Egyptian costume using fabric and the sewing machine. We can hear the sewing machine in the background. Let's see how they're getting on.
I guess I like a little bit of a pattern over here, but that isn't moving on to silver. This plate to dry, and then I'll do the mess of that bit. So now while I wait for that to dry, I need
This is
to...
too itchy. Come on here. This is too itchy.
Right, you can take it off now if you want. Walk you in to make the outfits for Nativity.
Oh, I'm Egyptian sewing.
I'm not sure, yeah, that back
I'm
in
an
the day.
Egyptian sewing.
They wish they had one of those then, I tell you.
Right, that's it. Right, now this is going away. Right, Alfie, is there anything else left to do?
Then they went into the garden
Yeah.
to model their fantastic masks and clothing. I wonder if this is what Potiphar and his wife looked like when Joseph worked for them as their slave.
Now, they are absolutely amazing. And I really think I need to ask Sheriff House Primary School to make me one of those, because that is superb. I love the mask. And I mean, with this face, I definitely need a mask. Now, we are time for our second song. We're going to sing an old favourite. It's a firm favourite of mine. And it's a track called My Lighthouse. And I put it in to remind us that no matter the temptation, no matter how we get asked by people or tempted by people to stray from the right path, God is our lighthouse and he can help us stick close safely. This is all fingers crossed that technology is going to work for me. Oh, look, it's a positive. Superb.
In my wrestling and in my doubts, in my failures, you won't walk out. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. In the silence, you won't let go. In the questions, your truth will hold. Your great love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness, I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. 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 I won't fear what tomorrow brings. With each morning I'll rise and sing. My God's love will lead me through. You are the peace in my troubled sea. Whoa, you are the peace in my troubled sea. Oh, you are my light, my lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. Fire before us, you're the brightest. You will lead us through the storms. My lighthouse, shining in the darkness. I will follow you. Oh, my lighthouse, I will trust the promise. You will carry me safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore. Safe to shore.
Worship song there. It is one of my favourites. Now, apparently, there are some proper actions to it. I don't know the proper actions. I do know that you have to turn around and it, something like that. Now, we are very, very lucky. If I can find him, we are going over to the lovely Mark Williams, who's going to have no tech problems this week. It's going to be amazing.
Let's hope so. Can you hear me?
Quick rehearsal. Mark, hello.
Yeah. Hello. You can hear me
We
and
can
see
hear
me.
you. And do you know what has been so fab about being able to hear you today?
Go on.
Because it was your voice when we had the sound problems earlier going, Gav, we can't hear you. Gav, we can't hear you. That got me to check what I needed to check and get back on track.
Yeah.
So thank you very much. And Mark, you're going to lead us through our thinking time today.
That's right.
Thank you very much.
So this afternoon, we have that story about Joseph, that next bit of the story. And well, isn't it an interesting story, the story of Joseph? Like Gav said, it's like a roller coaster. It's full of ups and downs. One moment, he's wearing the lovely coat of many colours that we heard about last week. And the next moment, he's a slave. And then soon, he's in charge of a large household with much responsibility. And then he's thrown into prison. And yet, even in the prison, he's respected and given some authority. And this isn't even the end of the story. I won't spoil the ending, but there's loads more to come in his life. But you know what? The one thing that is always constant in the life of Joseph is his faith in God. In today's story, Joseph is tempted by Potiphar's wife to betray Potiphar, to do something that would upset Potiphar, Joseph's boss. But each time Joseph is given the opportunity to betray him, he says that Potiphar has trusted him with his whole house, and that it would be wrong to betray him, and it would be a sin against God. That not only would Potiphar be upset with him, but so would God. You see, whatever's going on around him, whatever is happening to him, Joseph's first thought is always, what would God want me to do? And God looks after him, always. Now, we might think that, well, if God's looking after Joseph all the time, he wouldn't have ended up being a slave or in prison. But you see, God sees the bigger picture. He already knows what's coming next. After all, if Joseph hadn't been sold as a slave, then he would never have known what it was like to be a slave. So when he was put in charge of Potiphar's house and all his slaves, I bet that they were the happiest and best treated in all the land. At the end of the story today, Joseph is thrown into prison. And if that hadn't happened to him, well, oh no, I can't tell you. That next bit of the story, that'll be for next week, but it's good. You see, God doesn't always intervene in everything in the way that we want him to, because he knows what's best for us in the long run. But he is always there with us. He's always there to talk to help us when we're feeling sad. His words are always there to guide us and teach us. We can just pick up the Bible and there they are. And his friends, that's you and me, his friends are always willing to help out too. God always knows what is best for us. When we go through hard times, we can learn a lot about ourselves. We can learn a lot about other people. And we can learn about how to help people who are also going through hard times, and about how much God loves us. So rest assured that when there's stuff happening that we don't like, God is always there for those who need his help. And God can use us wherever we are and whoever we are. It doesn't matter how old we are or how clever we are. God loves us and wants us to be his friends and to do the things that are the best for us and for those around us. We can all show love to those around us, even the ones others don't love. I don't suppose that people showed much love to the slaves around Joseph, but he was able to because God allowed him to be in a place where he could help them. You see, even in this weird time when we can't go to school or work in the normal way, when shopping is complicated, when we can't hug those we normally would, we need to look around us and see who God is asking us to help, who God is asking us to love. So who can we help this week? Maybe it's just helping out at home, keeping our rooms tidy, helping a bit with the cooking, or doing our very best with our schoolwork, because that helps the teachers. You could message someone that you can't visit at the moment to say that you're thinking of them, or better still, make them a card to say how much you miss them. There are so many ways that we can show God's love for us to other people. You could even pray and ask God for his help with this, because he loves it when we talk to him. And just like with Joseph, he's always there to help. I think Gav's going to pop along in a minute, and we've got some prayers coming up as well.
Indeed, Mark, that was superb. Thank you so very, very much. Take
No
care
problem.
and look after yourself, and we'll see you again soon.
See you soon.
Now, wasn't that lovely? An absolutely lovely message, Mark. Now, Ryan Court has sent us in some prayers for this week, and then Karis is going to lead us in the Lord's Prayer. But we'll start with Ryan.
A prayer for resistance. Jesus, who faced temptation, I really do want to do good things. But sometimes I'm tempted to do something wrong. When that happens, remind me that you were tempted too, and help me to do the right thing, just as you did. Amen. Jesus, when I am tempted to do something wrong, help me to stop. Jesus, when I am tempted to do something wrong, help me to ask, what would Jesus do? Jesus, when people are trying to tempt me to make the wrong choice, help me to say no. Jesus, help me to remember your example and to stand firm. Amen. For this last prayer, you will need 5 different cards with the letters that spell today on each one. When I read out one letter, you put that on the other side of the card. T. Thank you, Heavenly Father, that you give us what we need each day. O. Overwhelm us with your love and give us security we crave. D. Deliver us from the temptation to acquire more and more things. A. Allow us to become the people you want us to be. Y. Your kingdom on earth is growing each day. Amen.
Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not to temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
So we've had our prayer time, and now we have our final song, which is going to work first time. It's going to be absolutely amazing. One more step along the world I go. It's going to appear as if by magic somewhere. Oh, look at that. Superb.
One more step along the world I go. One more step along the world I go. From the old things to the new. Keep me traveling along with you. And it's from the old I travel to the new. Keep me traveling along with you. Round the corners of the world I turn. More and more about the world I learn. And the new things that I see, you'll be looking at along with me. And it's from the old I travel to the new. Keep me traveling along with you. As I travel through the bad and good, keep me traveling the way I should. Where I see no way to go, you'll be telling me the way I
Lovely. Now, we have a special request today, and that is if you would like to become involved in Mini Messy, it takes an absolute huge amount of effort. It's so worth it because we get to engage with all of you in a totally different way. But to become involved, to volunteer to be our young apprentice family, if you'd like to do an activity for us, please do email minimessy@shiftyourbenefits.org.uk, and it's up on the right of your screen now. Just drop us an email. We would absolutely love to welcome all of you into our service. And on that same note, if you've done any of our activities today, if you've made the Egyptian headdress, a whole outfit, take a picture, send it in to us. Again, we would love to hear from you. Now it is time to head over and see how our cooking has turned out. So are you there, Catherine? Come in, Catherine.
Hi, yes, I'm here. And we've got our beautiful chocolate dipped strawberries all ready to tempt you. And then I'm also going to just whip out of the oven the last couple of the cheese straws.
That was a proper Delia expression there.
You see those? Oh, so I'm just going to pop these. How are you getting on?
Yep, the batties have just done some final different arrangements, so they're coming on now for you.
Fantastic. So I'll just pop these onto a cooling wire. So they crisp up. Are you there, girls?
Hello, Freya. Wow. They look amazing for the Batty family there.
Girls, those look absolutely fantastic. And have you been tempted to try them? Or are they not cool enough yet?
Yeah. Not cool enough yet.
They're good. We know that Evelyn's been tempted by those chocolate strawberries.
She has. Now, I'm tempted by them.
One.
In a minute. Just eat it.
Oh, can I eat one?
No.
Thanks.
They do look absolutely superb. Shall we say a massive thank you to the Batty family for us?
Girls, thank you very, very much. I hope you enjoy your tempting goodies. And I'm going to tempt Isabel with them. Fantastic.
I think they're too busy scoffing. They're superb.
They are. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you. Catherine, now it's the time, isn't it? Do you think, ladies and gents, it's very important that we see if Catherine can remember what Chris taught her last week?
Whether I can remember those, the messy grace, you mean?
Can you remember the messy grace? Do you want to try, Catherine, and lead us through it?
I'll see if I can talk you through it. So, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ holding our hands out.
No, Catherine, you need to explain the actions for us.
Well, I'm holding my hands out as if I'm expecting a present.
Good, yeah.
So may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God, so then we put our hands across our heart, like that.
Yep.
That's made me forget the next bit because I'm doing it slowly. And the fellowship, so hold the hands of somebody that's with you, and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all, now and forever.
Brilliant. The only bit you forgot is the very loud amen. So I'm going to read it through. Are you going to shout amen for me, Catherine?
Okay.
So, may the grace of our Lord Jesus Christ and the love of God and the fellowship of the Holy Spirit be with us all now and forever. Amen. Thank you very much, Catherine. We look forward to seeing you back in the kitchen again next week.
Okay, look forward to seeing everybody.
And thank you to everybody out there for being with us and taking part in our service. Please do hit the like and share button. We do Mini Messy Thursdays every Thursday during term time. And then we have other content as well as our young church activities every Sunday for our young people. Thank you all very, very much.